all of us are at least playing the demo or have tried the demo. At least Dan has purchased the full game. That's Octopath Traveler 2.
Yes.
Jeff and I both played through one opening chapter. We finished one opening chapter, and I think we both dabbled in maybe another one. I don't know if you did that. I dabbled.
I didn't yet.
Dabbled.
Okay. I dabbled. If you're not familiar with Octopath Traveler, the idea here is there's 8 characters to choose from with all very different backgrounds and setups and skill sets and stories. But as you progress the game, like you pick one, and as you progress, their paths all cross, and you end up having like a shared goal. I never did finish the first game, but I played it long enough to team up with, I want to say there was like 5 of us. So I collected a bunch of them at some point, and then got pulled away by playing something else. And then by the time I wanted to go back and finish it, because I did want to find out what happened, I was like, I don't remember who these people are or what's happening. So
shit.
Crap.
That is a bummer of a dense game like this, where they write this whole freaking world with all these political dynamics and stuff, and you're like, okay, I can't.
There's so much lore.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore.
It's a lore dump in every first
Apparently, this second one, they do it better at bringing the characters together and actually caring about the character story. Yeah. So,
I've read that the characters do interact way more and earlier.
Well, that's what's been tricky for me, because we were having a conversation in our chat, and I was like, I swear I played like a good 20 hours of that first one, and I don't remember the characters crossing paths at all. I don't remember it, and I don't know if it's just because it came out like 3-4 years ago. Like I don't even remember when
that's a 5-year-old game now. Believe that.
So 5 years.
It's crazy.
Dang.
It's crazy.
That's 2018.
5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus. So yeah, maybe it's just my memory is betraying me there, and I'm just not remembering it. But like I started with the Beast Tamer on the demo, the Beast Master girl, which I wanted to do something a little different. I usually go like somebody with like a sword or something. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna choose her.
That's what I did. So I sense why you did one.
With the sword. Yeah.
But he's awesome because I actually just met him.
So
I started with her, and right out the gate it was like, oh, this is like Pokemon, because you basically are given like these 2 creatures to choose between to be like your companion, which was really
nice.
cool.
Cool.
So I chose. They give you either an owl or a fox. I chose the owl.
Yes.
And then
Predator,
the fox. Then the fox like was overwhelmed by this like dark aura, and he got all like vicious, and he attacked me, and then he like ran off. So like obviously that's gonna be part of the story. But it was just like a really cool intro, because I was like, oh, this is like Pokemon. I'm choosing starting Pokemon. But yeah, like, so basically her whole thing is like she tames beasts, like any monster that you're fighting, you can tame them, you can capture them, but you can also you can convert them into like meat, like jerky or something to like.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm hungry.
Yeah, like to eat or as currency, because so she's part of the Beastlings tribe, so they're like beast people. And in their little village, like they don't use the in-game currency. It's like they trade meat for like, so you can use the meat right in the beginning there to like buy a new weapon or something. So
it's
that's
crazy.
Like
they thought of all these details for 8 different characters in different parts of the world.
It's almost like different games that they pulled together into
right. Yeah.
Like the Hikari one, I finished that chapter. That is a straight up old school samurai dynasty story. Yeah. I have a feeling if Kyle played it, he would love that. He would love this story, because you're a warrior prince who has kind of become jaded by constantly being at war all the time to keep your supremacy of the land. So like you start in a war with your brother who is older. Awesome. You start in a war with your brother who's older, and he's like a more ruthless general. Beating, just no mercy, killing people. He's got the Cobra Kai basically motto instilled in him. So like eventually there's a time passage, and your kingdom has become more peaceful as your king gets older, and the king, your father, starts seeing you as the proper successor for the throne. Like he's like, you were not going to go to war for petty reasons like I did. You're meant for the throne. And then like it becomes this whole political Game of Thrones thing. It's so freaking good, man. Like I was like blown away by that story. And then the stuff that you're describing about the beast handler, or whatever, that sounds awesome too. Like what the hell?
So Dan, does your owl go into battle with you then? How does that work?
So all right. So the way like her unique thing is like,
skills, right?
Yeah, so it's one of the skills. So essentially there's regular attacks, and then there's like basically you bust out whatever monster it is, and like they do unique attacks. So like she has bow attacks and axe. But then there's certain creatures that you catch that have like the little symbol of like a sword, or like the owl, for example, focuses on elemental weaknesses. So every time you unleash the owl, it basically automatically just like attacks the creature and hits whatever their elemental weakness is, which is actually really cool because it's like a guaranteed like, you know, hit on the shield, which is, you know, carried over from the original game. So for people who don't know, in the original game, you basically all the enemies have like a shield and there's like a number on it, and you have to break down that shield to stagger them. So then like they're disoriented and you get like a free hit. Yeah, for one turn, and then you know, you basically are trying to kind of like be strategic by like stacking up multiple layers of like of strength. I forget, there's like a term for it. I forget what the actual term is.
Yeah, I forget it too, but it does I guess in other games it would be called like mana, right? So like it's like you're building up so you can hit a special move, right?
Or multiple strikes.
There is a character like that in the first one. Everything you're saying, I'm like, I've played that before.
A beast tamer.
That was Hanit. She's a hunter, but she has the capture ability, and
they do call the beast. Yeah, they do call the beast wranglers hunters in the game. Yeah.
So you can actually summon them, and they have different attack types, like sword or whatever.
I don't even remember. Like I don't remember.
I'm like,
did you beat the first one?
No, I played a good amount of it, but no.
I never finished it.
I never even touched it.
These games, like, that's what actually stopped me from buying the second one, because I own the first one, but they're both like 80-hour games. Like, I'm not talking about main and side stuff. If you do that, you're getting over 100 hours, but they're like anywhere from 60 to 80 hours, and I'm like, no,
but like
all these games. Nope.
But so far with this one, I like the pacing.
Out stories. Yeah, it's gonna be long.
Yeah, I like the pacing of this one because at least for me, the way I started it is I started with the Beast Tamer. I got off of the island, so I took a boat to like another town, and like immediately I met the apothecary character.
Nice.
And she has the cliche.
That's like the magic character, right?
No, so the healer. She does like
the healer. Okay.
Yeah, she like heals and then does medicines, like herbs and medicine. Like she's cool. So apothecary stuff.
Are you playing on Switch or PS5?
On PS5.
Okay. I was just curious.
So she has the whole typical amnesia thing, right? So we've all seen the amnesia thing. But I
did see that in the backstory of like she's got this feeling like she doesn't know what it is. She's forgetting something important.
Yeah. So she knows how to do all of the apothecary stuff, but like she doesn't remember what her name is, or actually there was something on her that said what her name was, but she couldn't remember her name, like what her life was. Like she doesn't know, but she has the ability to still like do all of the apothecary stuff. So she's like confused. She's like, why do I know how to do this, but I don't know what happened to me, what brought me here. But there's this underlying thing of like there's this like posse of apothecaries that potentially are doing really like terrible things to like to some other like island off to the east or something, and like there might be a connection with her to that, because like when she gets to the town, people like see her, they're like murmuring to each other, and they like walk away from, they're like running away from her. So there's kind of like a little bit of that, which is cool, because it's not just simply she has amnesia and then she's like, I'm going on a journey. It's like there's this whole thing where she might be attached to apparently a scummy like group of like apothecaries, so that's actually kind of cool. So I did that storyline. So I did her first chapter, and that was really cool. I helped that town because it was suddenly like hit with like this like disease that everybody was like passing out and having a fever, and like they were all getting sick. And then I found the samurai guy. So I'm in the middle of his thing right now.
His first chapter.
Because then it gave you the option to go back and see his first chapter, right?
Yeah. So every time you meet them, it gives you the option. They're like, do you want to do their intro or their chapter, or do you want to skip it and you can do it later?
That's how the first game.
I discovered this through talking with Tim, but the way the demo works is you can finish the first chapter of every single character, but that does mean you have to create a new save for every single character. So you can finish chapter 1 of a certain character, and then the game will tell you that's all you get in the demo, so you might as well just stop here. And you're not going to meet any other characters organically in the story. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but I love the first chapter so much of the samurai dude that I'm just going to buy the game. I'm just going to buy the game and see it. You know, it's just so good.
And it'll be interesting from you. So Tim, which one did you start with? Sorry.
I started with the merchant Partitio.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so I'll be curious.
I'll tell you about his in a second.
I'm curious to see how soon you guys will start meeting some of the other cast members, but that's why I'm liking the pacing.
Me too. I mean, so far I've only done one chapter, but yes, me too. At least as far as it's not too long, you get to the boss fight pretty quickly, and then you're on your way out to discover the world.
Yeah, all of them have some
story,
motivation to go out into the world.
Yeah, they do.
Someone, whatever.
And I'm not going to spoil what happened with Hikari, but like, it's a great reason. The other story that looked really intriguing to me was the scholar who is accused of murdering, I think, his wife.
Oh, the one on the island or whatever?
Yes. Up in the stuck in jail, and he's thinking of nothing but revenge against the guy that killed his wife.
I think that's Oswald, right?
I think so. I don't remember the name.
That was the one that I was like,
dude, I gotta try that one. But then I saw the samurai, and he's more of a warrior, and I was like, that's my type of gameplay. So I gotta try that first.
So yeah, for me, it's like I think it is a lot of like me not remembering, but like I'm only 8 hours in, but like I'm liking this one.
That's far though.
Yeah, but and that's what I mean. Like I'm liking the pacing because I'm already in the middle of the third character. Like I'm forming my party already. Yep. It does feel more connected, which is what the reviews were saying. So I liked it because that was my issue with the first one. I felt like you have all these characters, but they're not intertwined in this way of like, okay, so cool. They have their separate stories, but eventually they come together to defeat like a big evil or something, but like still having their separate things going on. This one feels like maybe it is leaning more in that direction. We'll see by the end of it. I do want to try to.
It seems like yes, there's going to be like a big overlying big evil entity or whatever. They got to help fight together. But I feel like they're all going to help each other with their own journeys as well, like along the way, which is awesome. Because Hikari's story, especially, he needs
we should just
allies.
go halves on this game on PS5.
Yeah, but it's such a good handheld game, man.
I knew you were going to say
that. I got it on Switch myself for the demo.
But yeah, that's what I want out of this game. Like I like that they have separate stories, so you're getting like this kind of like this extra like layer of like knowing these characters. But I want and again by the end of this, I'm curious to see how connected it will be. If it's not as connected quite how I personally want it, like I'm wondering then when we get to the third one, like I really want it to be like. It is like any other RPG where like the party like they're growing together and like kind of like
Fire Emblem Engage. I played like 2 hours of it and my party's got like 11 people. It's not even like that far in the game.
It's so many people.
They give you people right out of the gate, right? They're like, here's a
we talked about it before where like if you play it normally how you're supposed
but they want you to kill people off.
You're gonna kill people off. Now I have like, because I don't kill anybody off, I have like 50 people and I'm like, I don't even know who to choose from.
Crazy.
I don't even know who's good. I don't remember you guys anymore.
But like so like one of the things that I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I don't think it is gonna quite go all the way like how I would like it is like, so when I met the apothecary chick, my character who like is voice acted, like the Beast Tamer girl, like has a personality, she's voice acted. When I met her, she was talking to me, the Beast Tamer girl, but I wasn't responding. Like, so she was just talking to me, but then still saying things to me as if I was responding, but there was no dialogue. Like suddenly I became a silent protagonist as the Beast Tamer girl. And she was talking to me. So that I was put off by that. I was like, why am I suddenly just not saying anything? Why am I acting like suddenly I'm not a person and I'm just
way of pacing who's going to meet who at a certain point. Like the only way we can do that is if we make one of the characters silent because, maybe another character is going to meet that person sooner or later in the game. That's really bizarre.
I mean, I think, because like then you're having.
Or it's just a glitch. Who knows?
No, because I mean, then I met the samurai dude, and it was the same thing. She didn't say anything.
Well, that's so he was mansplaining her.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was just mansplaining his situation.
Actually, I jumped into the situation to help him, and he thanked me. So.
We call that samurai splaining. It's fine.
Samurai splaining.
But yeah,
that's weird because so I'm playing as Particio, who's this merchant, and he is very talkative. He talks a little too much. Like that. His story. His story is very charming because it's like this. It's a Western. I'm like, what? How is there also a Western world in this world of samurais and woodland people? Whatever.
Well, they said one of their goals was to make it a little more modern than the last game. So I mean, that's the approach.
It is straight up like Arizona or Nevada, maybe Southern California back in like the 1800s. That's how it looks.
That's cool.
That's very much how it looks. And so the idea is that you and your dad, and then his business partner, you're a little kid. It kind of does like 16 years ago, and you're a little kid, and you're out there, and this is desolate landscape. You bought this area because you heard there's silver, and silver is going to be the Age of Silver is going to start, and so silver is going to be the currency for everyone across the whole land, and so that's how it starts. So you start building this town. It jumps to 8 years later. So now you're a teenager, and the town is thriving, and you're kind of like a leader already, working alongside your dad. Then some bad stuff happens. There's an evil landowner who kind of screws you guys over, and the town starts to fall apart. It goes to 8 years later. Now you're an adult, and that's where you get to do more fighting and kind of that, and learn your skills. Your skills as a merchant is you can hire people. I'm not sure if every character can do this, but when you go up and talk to people,
I have someone hired, like following me around.
On Hikari, Hikari's has two options. You can either duel people or blackmail them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Blackmail.
Yeah. So, because I felt like hiring was something you could do with most of the characters in the first one. I thought so, but anyway,
I'm sorry, not blackmail, bribe. You can just pay them.
Bribe. Money. Okay.
Give me information.
So yeah, you can see their stats to see what their attacks will be, and you can have them follow you. But they're only summonable for like 8 attacks or something.
Yeah. So.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can do that with the.
You're like, I gotta go. I gotta piss.
But then he does have a special skill mid battle where you can sacrifice some money to just summon in someone, like it's called hired help. You can just hire someone to fight for you. That's the idea. Mechanic. The merchant is basically like you're all about wheeling and dealing, right? That's your whole deal.
It's very unique. I like that. Yeah.
But he's very talkative. It's very kind of like hokey Southern accents. Like, all right, Paul, let's build up this town. Like, it really is that. Like, it's
Japanese people's like impressions.
But you know what's
of
funny is his
so
name is
funny to me. It's so funny.
Particio sounds like the most Italian name I've ever heard.
Hey, Particio. Sound like a Western.
I sell you the medicine or whatever themselves.
I kind of wish they talked like that.
I make it the mega box.
Yeah.
But he's very like. He's overly sincere and overly earnest, and so is his dad. They're like so well-intentioned and kind.
They have good
and,
intentions in these roles.
They're just so friendly and like so much. Like, we gotta save our town, Paul. Like it's very that for that story, and it totally works. Like it's not like I played it and I was like, oh boy, like. Yeah, I thought it worked, but it is very kind of cheesy. And I remember the first game had 1 or 2 storylines like that. But then on the other side, I tried Throne, the thief, and she's got a very dark story.
Cool.
It's a heist gone wrong, and one of their friends has already died, and they're on the run. Like it starts off crazy right out of the gate.
That was the third person in line I wanted to try.
That's a
immediately.
Cool one. Yeah. I think you'll like that one a lot. I didn't get to the end of that one yet, but I do plan on continuing.
The tones are quite varied. It seems
very different.
Yeah.
And
some more grounded than others.
The first game there was some kind of like cheesy stuff, and then there's some that's real heavy. Like there's one where you're you're pretty much a geisha or some kind of dancer, but you're in what appears to be, and they don't really say it, but they're strongly hinting that this is some sort of brothel-like
I think I remember that one.
And you are being just horrifically abused and exploited by this dude, and so are all these other girls, and you finally get a chance to fight him at the end of that chapter, and it's so satisfying because it's just like you're kind of mad for them by the end.
Yeah, definitely. And there's actually a part, the boss that you end up fighting in the first chapter for Hikari was like, was somebody that I didn't even want to fight because in the flashback in the very beginning, you're buddies and stuff, and you have a great rapport. Yeah. And then that's your first boss, and it's like, no, this guy was so cool.
That's devastating.
I know, but it was. I love that the writing was able to nail the tragedy of all that stuff that happened. So for somebody like me that never played the first game, this game is kind of blowing my mind. Even though my understanding of it is more of the same, but obviously there's some slight improvements and changes.
It's improved. They've.
I think it looks a lot better, and it already looked really good. Like
it looks great.
Looked good, but this one looks even better.
I love the look of this game. It's so fantastic. It's like and like the buildings, you go in and out of them, and it feels like a diorama. Like
it's so cool, dude. Pixelated. What is it called? 2.5D or something like that? When it's like kind of like
HD 2D.
That. Yeah, because there's other games that do this too, but this is I just love it, dude.
I think Octopath was really the first. I think Octopath was actually the first one,
and then there's the term HD2D.
Yeah. And then they Square also did it with was it Live Alive?
Yes,
that was theirs as well.
The demo of that
and there's a demo of another game we'll talk about in this episode that also uses that kind of 2D, 3D pixelated art.
Cool.
That's really, really neat. But yeah, I'm really liking this. Dan, I don't know if you're noticing specific differences. I feel like it plays exactly like the first one. Just like you said, it's better. Like they seem to have more balance, and it's still the same idea of all characters have some kind of shield that has a certain weakness, and as you fight against enemy types, those weaknesses will kind of be saved and you'll always know when you fight them again, like, oh, they're weak to axes or they're weak to spears.
Yeah, it won't be a question mark every single time.
So, and then you can it helps with the strategy, because like when you're fighting a boss, you've got the boss character there. He might have two sidekicks. Like in my boss fight, there are two sidekicks you have to take out.
I had that too. Yeah.
And so you start to kind of figure, okay, they're going to go in 2 turns. I better get them broken so I can stun them for this next turn, so I can limit how many hits I take. So that same strategy is at play. This is not new. The first game did this, but it's not bad either. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, it's
a fun system.
I almost look at it as, hey, they already have a really cool combat system and character setup screen, and the way you can upgrade and gear and all that. It's very, very much the same.
Yeah.
But now it's 8 new stories, and it's a totally new world. I just looked it up just to be sure, but it's a totally different land. Like, it's not even the same.
It's like Final Fantasy, right? It's like the idea is being carried over into a sequel. There are themes and things carrying over, right? But like it's a different game. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
totally
just
different
like that
world.
In Fire Emblem, like totally different world, totally different stories. No, not really connected.
The first one was the land of Orstera, and this one is the land of Solistia. So they're just totally different.
And that's why I was like, okay, I'll try the demo this time. You know, like
Honestly,
I gotta thank Midnight Suns and like the South Park games for
giving you some turn-based love.
I was gonna say,
you know what? I think I messed up by not playing turn-based games my whole life.
You gotta just get the right ones. It's just a matter of getting the right ones.
It really is.
This instead of this making me, because I do want to play more of it. The characters are interesting. It actually makes me want to just reinstall the first one and just experience that full game and get all those, and because I already own it, and I'm like, I have probably 4 games that I've purchased recently that I still haven't started yet. So I'm like, I don't think I can.
I know that's a good and bad problem.
The only reason I didn't buy it, I knew I wouldn't play it. Like I would start it and then talk about it on the show, but I was like, I'm not gonna play it.
So I think the 3-hour demo is great. You get a good feel for what the game is like, a couple of the stories if you're curious. But I think I'm gonna hold off buying the full thing. But if you're interested in it, I can tell you, even from the demo, it's completely worth your money. It's a very much worthwhile.
We didn't even, and we did in the chat, of course, but like the music, dude, like,
oh my god, dude,
like, oh my god, even just the regular battle theme, right?
I was actually gonna say before that, not even the battle stuff. When you're just in the menu selecting your first character, I was just listening to the music going, this is amazing. That's it.
There's also a theme in there, and I don't know if it's like right in the beginning of each chapter when something's happening, but there's I don't know, because I'm trying to remember to like the Samurai one if they played the song too, but there's this other song that like kicked in like when I was the Beast Girl and it like flashed forward and I was chasing after this like giant lizard monster, and it's just freaking going, and I'm like, oh, this music is so good. And
I wonder if it changes based on the setting that you're in, because the Samurai one used a lot of that Asian instrument that sounds like it sounds like that or whatever. It used a lot of that, and I'm wondering if it changes the further out I go.
We didn't even mention the night and day mechanic. There's that too.
There is.
So that is new. That's a new.
Oh, it is. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And the music's different at night. It's actually more serene and kind of chill. Like I actually really like the night theme. The night theme.
The enemies are stronger.
Yeah, the characters you talk to can be different. Like there's different paths that you can or can't access, night or day, and NPCs. So, and there's also, I forgot to mention too, there is a latent power ability. Every character has a latent power that you can activate.
That's what it is that I was thinking of that Dan was describing. But
it's just like a little meter that fills up, like as you take damage, give damage. It's pretty standard meter that you're probably used to seeing. But for the merchant, at least, I don't know if he'll get different latent powers over time to swap out. But his power that he has at the beginning, is where you can.
He throws money at them. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be great. No, or if he could do like that move from the old Robin Hood cartoon where he throws one coin in so hard he gets all the other coins out and swipes them. You guys ever seen that?
I don't remember that at all.
It's a classic. But anyway, no, his power is that he'll completely activate his boost meter. So like every time you don't use it, you build up one more boost point. You can store up to 5, and you can use those to do double, triple, quadruple hits. You guys have used that before. Little right shoulder button. And so that, which by the way, once you learn like, hey, I'm going to break this character and then save up another boost, and then I'll hit him with like a triple attack while he's weak. So
very satisfying when you do that.
Very satisfying.
I didn't do it in the second one because I haven't played it, but the first one.
And you can boost your special attacks, which is awesome. So if you have some super special, like rain of arrows attack or something, you can boost all of that.
Just so everybody knows who's listening, you can get this game on Steam for $48 through CD Keys.
I saw that.
And it is Steam Deck verified. So
that's great too.
Handheld.
Steam Deck verified.
No.
Steam
no,
Deck verified.
Now I might have to change. Oh
Crap.
no.
Dang it!
I played through a whole chapter. Damn it! At least it was an hour. At least it was an hour. That's okay.
It does play well on the Switch too. I can confirm that, but I'm assuming it's great on the Steam Deck and on the Steam. But yeah, great game. Like really good.
I'm very much enjoying it. I do really want to try to stick it out this time because I'm curious to see like again how everything comes together as you progress much further and like what is even like the end game like.